Hello guys, in today's video. Today I have no script for today's video. It is unprepared, it is on my laptop, so the resolution is maybe a bit lower than you're used to in my episodes, but what I want to focus on today is to write something. Today I want to focus mainly on the GUI 0 library for Python. I have written several apps in it, and what I want to do today is to make simple functionality for opening GIFs in the Linux terminal. Cause of course there is some kind of way that anyone can do it, but we want to add this functionality to our system today. What I want to focus on, let's change our directory to home on the current user. What I have here is mainly nothing, but you may ask how I want to do it. So every guy who was using Linux for a while knows that there's bashrc file, which is mainly opened every time you open terminal. And down right in here somewhere we have aliases. I have added my own aliases, such as the aliases. Those are the built-in aliases. I have added some nano aliases. As you can see, that I have smooth scrolling, which is not opened by default. It's like scrolls in some kind of blocks of text, not smooth line by line. So this is this L parameter. Here we have -s, which is for smooth scrolling, and this is for line numbers that are left in here. Then we have FBI aliases. The FBI is for opening, not here to be honest, but in TTY that you can't see because I'm recording it over VNC, so yeah, and so you will not see it. But when I'm in TTY, for example, I can, those virtual terminals with Control Alt F6, F5, F4, F3 to F2, F1. Nobody knows the names of them, but everyone is using them. So this is the FBI with the parameter with sudo, and this one, which I believe just opens your file just straight away, because the FBI has some other functions. So depending on what you want to open with it, you need to add the parameter. The A parameter is the default one that just opens your file. Here I have the reload, which is just reloading bashrc. Changes direction to home folder, because in your home folder you have your bashrc, and then it just runs with bash interpreter the .bashrc file. So this is what we got in our configuration. Pretty simple, I think. But what we want to do today is to add, and I have a little script that is running just figlet Linux and my private and public IP address, and this is just like the whole editing thing that I have done in here. And so that's, I believe, it. Now let's focus on adding this functionality to our system. So I don't want to complicate it very much, so we will just make this script right in here. So let's just make a file that we will call GIF open, for example, .py. Boom, like that. Let's list. We have GIF open. I have IP display in here, which I believe this is unscripted video. I will do random stuff in them, so don't expect something big in here. Okay, so we have IP display, which is kind of strange because I don't remember writing the script, but let's list who has made it. This IP display, I have made it. Okay. So let's just remove this IP display.sh. Okay, so we have our GIF open.py. Let's now open it with nano. Boom, like that. And what now we need to do, obviously, is to import GUI 0 library. I don't remember how it was written, GUI 0 library. That's why I have this example script. From GUI 0, I'm sorry. I'm not prepared. GUI 0 import, and we need application and I believe picture, and that's mainly it. Yeah, we don't need text and or any push button. Now then we need to define the app itself, which we'll call app just straight away, and then just application, and then just name it. We need to give it a title parameter for this function, and then we have title. In title we will write, for example, something like GIF viewer or something like that. Nothing special, nothing fancy. And then after the whole code we need to write our variable name and display, and that's it. And the biggest power of it is that I'm sorry, I'm using mouse for not the right purpose. The biggest power of this library is that it doesn't really have a difference or make difference in between of the PNG, JPEGs, or for example GIF files, and that's pretty interesting. So let's now make here something like file, or let's just make it, yeah, file. It will be very simple script, to be honest, and then we just get the input from the user, and in the input we will ask which file you want to view, and it will not even open GIFs, it will open any PNG and JPEG, or it should. And now we will add ourselves widget, which will be picture in this case. This is the official page of the library, by the way. It opens a regular picture. Here you have some how it works in the tk enter object, and how to make one. We just have picture, define to which window it belongs, and then the name of it, which is pretty simple. So let's just make image now. Let's make it as a picture, and in this picture we just write the application to which it belongs, which is app, and then here the image, I believe itself, if I remember correctly. Yeah, and then here we will just write file, image, a file, and then image. Okay, that's pretty much it. Yeah, you can choose the whole directory if you want, to be honest, but I hope we will be able to run it in any directory we want. That's the functionality that I want to do. Okay, so let's now test it to see if it works. Of course I need to have some kind of file, a moving file. The GIF file would be the best. Example GIF file. Let's do this. Example GIF sample files. Yeah, sample GIFs. Yeah, and let's wait for it. Maybe I will be able to download something from Jiffy. Okay, and let's find, I don't know, hacker. A sample. No sample. No. I didn't mean that. I meant hacker. Okay. I'm sorry for the for the way that the video is made, but I hope you will be satisfied with it. I wanted to make a video like that for a long period of time, to be honest. View image. I can view image, and can I save image as a GIF? No, it's WebP format. That's kind of not very interesting for me. But what if I will just save it as a GIF? Just change the extension of it. No, nothing happens interesting. I'm not even able to view it. Okay, so I need to download download GIFs online, because I don't want WebP format, extension format. Who cares? Find and share on Giphy, online GIF to MP4 converter. I don't want that. How to download GIF from Giphy on Windows? Oh, I don't think so. I'm not using Windows, as you can see. I'm using Xubuntu, and I pretty like it. This distro. Okay, but it's like still thing that I'm not interested in. It's still a website. Install Giphy, something. I'm not interested in that. Download animated pictures. Oh, that's kind of what I wanted. Okay, so what do we want? Computer. Boom, you're in. Okay, from the IT crowd, but I don't think if it has copyright or something. So let's get this cat, for example. Let's get working GIF animation. Never allow. Download GIF. Oh god, we got this. .gif, and just save it here. Yep, completed, and I can open it, but it doesn't play or doesn't even open in the default image viewer, which is Ristretto or something like that. Oh, it plays. That's kind of interesting. But imagine, you know, it's a bloated piece of software. We want to make it suckless, and we want to open a GIF in our file, in the separate window, or just from terminal with single command. That's what we want to do. We want to implement it. So now I have this file, which is of course on desktop. So let's run Midnight Commander to copy it from the desktop. Of course I can do it in terminal, but no, that's not what I want to do. So let's just move it with F6 from the one place to another, and then just close this and list what we got. And now I am working GIF. And now with Python 3, because the GUI 0 library is only for Python 3, I will run this. It should ask me for a user input which file you want to view. I want to view I am working the GIF. And now it's supposed to open it. And it opens it and it plays it, and there's no problem with that. It loops over and loops over. So I'm satisfied with it, kind of. It opens the window first and then it opens anything else, but it's kind of the I am working .py. Oh jeez. Oh, because I have written the wrong piece of, yeah, that happens. Let's try I am working the GIF as it should be, and it's still working, but we need to change it. This is good. It asks for input, renders this thing, and then we have the function which is app display. And somewhere in my okay, let's save this. And somewhere in my microSD card, because I'm on my laptop, and the only way to expand it is to just add a microSD card. So that's how I live. That's not this script. Script pi, maybe it's script 1. Yeah, it's just the input function at the end of the code, this one, because it stops the code from running over and over. I mean, the GIF will run over and over, but some of the GIFs don't have this function that they loop. They just play once and stop. And that's good, but we want to stop the application because it will find that the GIF ended. Then the GIF will send like an information to our GUI application that it's ended, and the application will just close. So that's the thing that we didn't want to happen. So let's just add to our script. Add to our script just an input function at the end. See if it still was working properly. Let's run it and stop scrolling through the history. Python 3 GIF open, boom, and let's now write in the command line I am working .gif. It's opened and we get this, and it's working. This line doesn't change anything, but trust me, there are some use cases in which it will make some problems. Invalid command name call wrapper while executing after script. And now it stopped, as you can see. Now I can press enter and it closes. That's what I wanted to intend. Okay, so now we need to have the bashrc alias. So the bash, now let's construct some kind of command that from anywhere we are will run the script and open our GIF. So I don't have much GIFs on this computer, surprisingly. Let's download document expired. Okay, I understand that. Computer again. Well, let's just make it, I don't know, geek or something like the name of my channel. Nothing. Let's write hacker. Nothing. So let's just write in computer and let's find the monkey. Okay, monkey. Okay, monkey and computer, download GIF file, and let's now save it in different directory. For example, on desktop, not in home directory, because the other file was saved in the home directory. Okay, so we got monkey and computer GIF, and now let's try to open it. So the go-to choice would be to change the directory in which, where we have it right in here, and what we want to do now is to open it. First of all, I will just change the name of it to, because it's pretty big. And now we need, with Python 3, we need to run script which is called gifopen.py. We need to give the whole directory to it, and then we want to run the script. It runs, and now I can give it, let's split the view a bit, I can give it the name which is monkey.gif. monkey.gif. Enter. And of course there's some kind of problem. Okay, it runs. It runs, of course, in the resolution 1:1 resolution, because we don't stretch it. We didn't add parameters to the function, to the picture function, to stretch it or shrink it. So it's just running 1:1 resolution. But it runs. It loops the whole thing. Now I can just press enter, I believe, and it doesn't close. I need to close it manually, and then it closes. So now we want to add this function to our bashrc. So to do it, let's open sudo nano dot bashrc. And now here we can scroll with the mouse, because why not? Scroll in here. Let me expand the window a bit. And let's add in the section of aliases, which is somewhere here, alert, reload. And let's now add another alias, which is to open images / GIFs, to be honest. And now let's give it an alias, which will be open GIF, and it will not change the directory, but it will run with Python 3 my script, which is called GIF, and that's the place where it GIF open.py, GIF underline open.py, and that's it, mate. Yeah. Control O, Control X, reload. Yeah, and it's working correctly. This line error is only happening when I'm reloading. As you can see, when I open fresh terminal, it doesn't occur. Okay, so we got our GIF, we got our thingy right in here, so theoretically we should be able to change to desktop, of course from a capital letter list, and here we have only monkey.gif, and now I can just run open GIF. Boom. And of course the open GIF is not found, and I'm curious why. Sudo nano .bash rc, the sudo password. Of course, I'm not prepared, as I said. Open GIF. We have this alias added. Open GIF alias. That's kindly interesting, to be honest. Reload nano lsla egrep eco terminal alias alert. Everything is done instead of this alias, which is open GIF, and it's still not there. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So let's just reboot. Maybe when I will be rebooting, it will do something. I'm sorry, I'm recording it over VNC, as you can see. So we need to just wait a while. I hope I will be able to cut it out. But this computer boots literally very fast, and now I can talk a bit about why I wanted to record some kind of video like that. Because I believe when you just see people doing their normal stuff, which is just experimenting like we are doing now, you can learn a lot of stuff. So that's pretty much why I wanted to record this video. I hope the VNC server will just automatically reconnect when I will log into my system, but this is only okay. But you know, my system is up. I need to connect myself to the right network, and we will be done. But why I wanted to record such a thing like that, because I hope this is the one of the most enjoyable and interesting ways to somehow, I'm sorry, there's of course some kind of problem always in here. Wait a while. Okay, so I'm back, hopefully, in our operating system, and now let's try alias. And now we have OpenGIF. Okay, so I needed to reboot, which is kind of strange, but let's go to desktop, not with capital letters, and run my open, of course, without mistakes, OpenGIF, and it has problem, of course. Image import error. But it's like it runs, but then it stops, or what? Monkey. Of course, I hope we'll be able to improve it. Monkey.gif, and it loads it in the directory that we have run the script. So okay, we have added this functionality. Let's now change the one thing that annoys me, which is of course this. So we're here, app, title, GIF viewer, which file you want to view, image, and here we want to just add a new file, line in here. So now when I will run it by like that, GIF open py, now it, as you can see, I can write in the next file. So here we have I am working.gif, and as you can see, this GIF, for example, opens like that, as you can see. So it's, it depends on the resolution of the GIF itself. So that's kind of it. And this is like the way in which I have showed you what I'm doing on my Linux, which is just programming using shell mainly. I am using shell all the time in the terminal. I am programming in Python. Of course, I have idle installed in here. Those are the three tools that I'm using the most in here, which is the Python shell, as you can see, with, of course, idle. This is like the simplest, the simplest way to run Python scripts, and I really like this scripting aspect of Python. I really enjoy it. Okay, so this is what I'm doing in here. What else do I have here that is maybe interesting is that I program Arduino on this computer too. And that's pretty much it. I have few network utilities right in here, and that's pretty much it. Some Office Suite, Baldur's Gate. Yeah, I have few games, imagine that. But it doesn't work, obviously. Yeah, because I was uninstalling it, I believe. And it will, yeah, path not found. Yep, because it is uninstalled. But I have, as you can see, Wine. A lot of apps can be run with Wine, surprisingly. I have gported and some other utilities installed in here. I have FTP opened on this machine too, so this is like my setup. 1270, let's scan the loopback. I'm sorry. For example, I have Nmap installed to scan for open ports. As you can see, I have FTP open on the 21st port. And of course we can connect to it. To FTPs I am connecting via the Thunder, which is the built-in file manager in Xubuntu. But I am doing it pretty often with just, of course, with Midnight Commander, because I like Midnight Commander. Of course I have virtual machine running Linux in here, which we'll focus on in a while, but I want to show you this FTP if you want. Yeah, the password is very simple. Here I have my project that I'm doing in school, if you would ask me, to be honest, and my wallpaper, so I can copy it to nearly every place in here. I have second computer which is running now as a server, and I hope we will be able to connect to it. So as you can see, I have IP address 1042.0.168, and this second computer which is running right now as a internet access point, and it is running as a server. I should be able to connect to it via SSH, and it has FTP by itself. So let's connect to FTP first. It's the first address in this network, so it is like that. You should be able, I believe either is admin. Yeah, admin The password is not ambitious very too. And what I here have is just some files that are copied from this laptop, and there is another copy of the files. So those are just the two copies of the files. If I lost something, I have them on my FTP server, which is pretty good. What else? What else? I can connect to the server via SSH, which we should be able to utilize via this local network, like that. And we are here, to be honest. It's the Polish install, so it's kind of different, a bit different from the one that we have. I believe even the manual pages are not the sudo apt list. And for example, let's pipe it to grep, and in here write, I don't know, Python. And as you can see now, there is no password for user Casper, but it displays something different, you know, which is in Polish, because this install of Linux is in Polish, as I said. Wrong password. No, it's displaying normally in the normal English version in the apt, but the sudo and some built-in components, such as, I believe, if I will run now bash or c, no, okay, I don't know. I don't know what I will need to run. Let's reconnect. I believe then it should display this banner. Yeah, it displays this banner, and as you can see, this message is in Polish. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This is this server that I'm running, and this is the server on which I am recording right now via the VNC, as you can see here. Yeah, so let's now try to show you my testing environment that I have here and my Kali Linux. In the testing environment, I am mainly learning Bash. Of course, I am using Bash every day, but sometimes I want to just try some scripts that I don't trust very much, and I don't want to break my main install that I have here, and I want to experiment a bit. Then I am running them in this testing environment, as the name applies. It works? Yeah, it works. It should work. All of those virtual machines, I have them installed on my microSD card, because this is a very cheap netbook. And I just have VirtualBox VMs, and here I have experimental Ubuntu, Windows 7 VM, and Kali Linux. So those are just the catalogs in which those installs are. So for example, we can change to Windows, and for example with LSL show you that there's pretty big file right in here to be honest. If I run file, it shows you it's pretty big. Let's find out man file, if there is some kind of way to display it in bytes or something more. Brief, do not prename to output lines, compile, check printout, on file system exclude, extension, separate our files from, mime type, keep going, list, magic file, no pad, no buffer, preserve date, parameter, row, special files. Okay, there is no way to do it easily. But let's get to the back to the topic. So here I have just a simple install of Xubuntu, which is the same distro as I have normally, but it has a much smaller drive, which we will check in a while. It is clean. I have nearly no apps installed, I believe, here. Let's just wait for it. You know, this laptop is not the best one. It doesn't have horsepower to do some virtualization, but it works pretty snappy. I will show you my Linux installation in a while. So here, if you want to see how to install Linux on your PC and how to install some operating system in VirtualBox, there is some a little PDF file which explains it on my website. So if you want to visit it, it is just www.ArduGeek.pl. Let's wait for the terminal. What I got here, why the Mozilla open? Firefox. What I have here is examples, and I have like an tree. I do have tree in here. Yeah, I have tree in here. So this is just a simple example of some stuff. I believe I even have ls/home, few users. Yeah, I have the normal user and a few other users created. I was even making, I believe, files for those users, or maybe not. So yeah, kind of like that. This is just a clear. I don't have even MC installed. This is just clear bash. Yeah, there's nothing on this Ubuntu, and I want to keep it like that because I just want to experiment in here with what I have. Just a clean install of Linux. It's useful to have it sometimes, because sometimes something doesn't work. It doesn't want to work on your distro with all those dependencies, all of those apps, all of those repositories added. But sometimes when you want to do this on a clean operating system, you realize that it starts to working. So this is not the problem of the thing that you want to install. Can I just turn it off? Okay, let's just force to close it. Yeah, just force to close it. And so sometimes you just realize that the problem is not on your machine, for example. I mean, it's not the thing that you want to install, but sometimes the problem is just in the software that you have installed, which makes problems sometimes. So let's now open Kali Linux. I have here it mainly for learning network security. I'm not much into hacking or something like that. I really like hardware hacking, and you can see it on my website, but I have it to scan networks, to check open ports, for example, to try to for example make DHCP discovery attacks on my AIMS that I have especially made servers for that. I forget the password again, but wait a while, I have idea. Okay, I'm just stupid a bit. Okay, it doesn't have pretty big specs. It just has 18 GB hard drive, virtual hard drive. Let's wait for it. But let's run it in a small window, cause it will run a bit more smooth. Okay, so I have this monkey that we have added, but let's just pop this right in here where we have another GIF, another Python script. Okay, but it's kind of not want to cooperate. It takes a while. Surprisingly, the Kali Linux, which is for hacking and all of those penetrating testing purposes, it is not optimized pretty well, as you can see. Something is happening, and now we are in, and the connection failed. What the? what happened? Show me the network settings, because we are bridging the adapter to VLP when it's 0, so there shouldn't be any problem. Turn off, and let's connect again. fconfig. We don't have IP address, and now we have. Okay, so my DHCP server gave us IP address. So what I literally do in here, most of the time, is just using those built-in tools. And here I have, for example, this network has this type of the addressing, and let's choose my profile for scanning, just like that. It should do the scan pretty fast, to be honest. It is just doing it. It found 2 hosts, and yeah, it's doing something. Service scan is initializing service scan. Okay, we are waiting. But you may ask why I'm showing you this. Because I'm just showing you the tools that I have, and if you have some ideas what you want to see me doing, for example, some kind of project, you can just write it in the comment section down below, and it would be very nice to see what kind of stuff you want to see. Okay, so it found it first host, and now the second one, and it found it. Okay, so on the left side of the interface, as you can see in this ZenMap solution, we have the first one, which is Alien 17L, which is my server. It's DHCP, it's router, it's internet access point, and as you can see, it is a SSH and FTP server. And here we have this DNS mask, is mainly for giving the IP addresses, and those ones are, I don't know for what they are. Then we have the Kali, which is this virtual machine. It's bridged. Here in the settings, I have disconnected I'm just genius. In those network settings, you can change the adapter. You can enable it, disable it, but the biggest thing is that you can change the bridged adapter to the normal adapter, which is NAT, to a bridged adapter, and then it just shows in your network as a separate host, and you can normally scan network with it, for example, as a normal host. And as you can see here, we have nearly nothing. Here we have no ports really on here too. We just have FTP open. Then we have the topology. We can zoom in or just turn the fisheye mode. And we can see that we have local host that was running, which is connected to Kali. And we have my first computer, which we are on. I am recording on it right now, and here I have my router / server in here. Then we have the host details. We can check what some other stuff here, which is address, MAC address, on Kali. Let's see what's in here. Linux, uptime, last boot, IP address, MAC address, host name, operating system, but this doesn't display operating system in terms of Linux, like Xubuntu, Ubuntu, Kubuntu, or something like that, but it displays it as a kernel version, and it's, I believe, pretty right. Let me see this. Let's just see this straight away like that on my server, because I can connect to it via SSH. It's somewhere here, but Let's just do it like that. Boom, 10.42.01. And let's see if 4.15. Yeah, it is pretty, and accuracy is 100%, but here it is not 100%, and let's check why. I don't want to open another window. Let's just get out of my server, and let's now you name R, and it was not right. Okay, 520. So, okay, but it's pretty interesting that on here I have older kernel than on my laptop. But okay, doesn't matter. Everything is configured and is working. And here we have all the scans that were made, the host details, the topology. Here you have the legend. You can save the graphic. Let's save it to desktop. Let's name it scan. You can save it in SVG or I want PNG. You can save it, for example, if you have a big network, and just like that you can close it, and you can later on see how the whole thing looks like. So that's pretty much the application I'm using most frequently in here. I want to learn a bit more with different apps, but on this computer it is not very snappy to use it normally. So let's power off the machine, and here I have my Windows setup, which I can show you, because on the Kali Linux I am not programming, to be honest. I didn't even want to. I am not much into this Ruby or Lisp. I don't know which one is needed to make some attacks or something. You know, I'm just not into it very much. I really like networking, but as you can see I have this Kali Linux for just experimenting with my own network. And I hope it works good. Hopefully. Hopefully it works. Okay, so it's not activated, I'm sorry. And what do I have here? Of course the sound of Windows. And what do I have here in terms of software is Visual C# 2008. And you may ask, why so old version? I don't like new versions, they are bloated. And the C# is just owned by Microsoft, so there is this .NET Mono, which is the Linux alternative for C#, but I don't really want to use it because it doesn't work the same way. That's why I have Visual C# right in here, because I know how to program in C#. I know how to make applications in C#, graphical user interface and console apps, so that's why I have it here. Here I have Firefox, here I have 7-zip file manager, which is not file manager but archive manager. Here we have dev C++, which is mainly I am using it at school. Here we have Cisco Packet Tracer that I'm using to learn networking and some other stuff. It's pretty interesting to even jiggle around by your own. Here we have DTMF encoder. I need a decoder for a special contest at school, but obviously I have downloaded the wrong one, the encoder, but then the deadline came to me and I didn't install the right version. And I don't remember if there is an installer for it. Yeah, there is no uninstaller for it. Here we have the CMD. Of course, this is the Polish install, as you can see. Here we have Total Commander and idle for Python. And those are pretty much all the stuff that I have. Here I have, for example, bin, hex, and decimal, bin hex and decimal converter. I don't even remember how it was working, to be honest. I need to see code. Obviously. Okay, here it is. It is console application, as I can see straight away, which is kind of interesting. Write line, decimal, binary, hexadecimal, write a number, We don't have access to internet or what? Something's not working. Okay, but I don't need internet right now. But that's like kind of another problem to debug, and it's kind of the video for doing stuff like that, so we will get to it in a moment. So I have switched to program in Python, so I don't use it so frequently, to be honest, but it's there. I have Windows and sometimes I'm using it. You know, it's kind of the tool. The operating system that I use is a tool, and I just switched to Linux long time ago and I'm just used to it. You know, literally for an advanced user there is no difference in between of the operating systems. But the biggest point is that the shell, the Windows shell command line is much different from the Linux command line, and that's what the biggest point for me is, because I am using command line pretty often, so that's why I want to have it and know how to use it. Here I have some kind of electronics calculator, which was a very big project that I wanted to do. It's a graphical user. No, wow, I was writing code. I have some code. And the another thing that you should remember is that any piece of code that you have written, you should save. Even if it is 10 lines, you have started a small project, or you were writing a script, small script, as we were doing today, you should save it. Here I have an Excel files. It's like a sine wave, simple sine wave. I have Microsoft Office installed, the 2003 version. Here I have packet tracer projects. I was attempting to install packet tracer on Linux. There is even version for Linux, compiled for Linux, for my version of Linux even, but it doesn't want to work. So I have it right in here. I have simple, for example, projects right in here. For example, here I was learning how to make VLANs. I hope it will not require logging in. Please. Please not logging in. For example, trunk, which is, you know, connecting VLANs together, DNS and FTP servers, DHCP and basic router configuration, to subnetworks, which is about addressing mainly. So yeah, of course, login page. I love you, Cisco. Oh, seriously? Okay. So let's fast forward the time. And here we have a simple place where we have two VLANs and they are not connected together. So let's send a package in simulation, and let's just send it. Oh jeez. No. Send the ping from this computer to this computer, and you will see that it didn't, you know, flowed through to another computer. But from here to here, let's go to real time, it is successful, as you can see. So here we have one VLAN, here we have second VLAN, but you know, about networks I can record, and about mainly packet tracer and how much you can do with it, I can record just a different video about. And about configuring Windows to use it efficiently, because I have here the minimal Windows install. It doesn't even have, for example, themes support. What else do we have here? Packet tracer text to binary converter. I needed it for something. I don't remember for what. Here I have one exercise that I was doing from a little book, because I have a little book with exercises for C#, and I have done it. And here is some files for my project. First versions of the project. Sorry for the noise. But that's one thing that I can, well, let's just leave it. And the pieces of software that I was not talking about is Total Commander, which is similar to Midnight Commander that I have on Linux. You know, arrow keys, tab to go into another, like half of the screen, F3 to see what's in a file, F4 to edit it, F5, and I'm pretty interested how I can edit files. Okay, just opens text editor. F5 for copying it, F6 for not copying it but moving it, F7 for making catalog, F8 to remove something, and F4 to close it. Pretty simple, isn't it? And I like this program. It's pretty good. I really like it. And the another thing that I want to finally learn is to just use command line. And you know, for example, I don't know how to use it. And that's another thing that I will learn. I want to learn. I want to use Windows efficiently. I want to use it as I am using Linux. But it's not so simple, but I hope I will get to it finally. So this was my configuration, a little Python script writing, some simple stuff, nothing big. I hope you liked it, and see you guys next time in the next episode.